Daddy?
I told you, when I'm finished, you can have what's left.
There won't be any left. There's never any left.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Hello, and welcome to Speaking on Camera, where I won't speak on camera, because last time I made this, my Filmora betrayed me and my face was licked multiple times until I get a mask gameplay in the background. I just came from the theaters after seeing Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and, well, how do I put this? Let's get started because I have mixed feelings about this and this video will definitely contain spoilers. What can I say about Five Nights at Freddy's 2? I, the certified fanboy of this franchise, of the movie. It is dog shit that I didn't like, as much as the first one, obviously. I did enjoy it, but there's a point where the audience patience runs out no matter how much you say it's made for the fans. It stops being enjoyable. Let's just say this movie pushed me to the limit. Right now, I'm having an internal battle with feelings more confusing and explosive than a woman on her period. What can I say? I don't know what to say. When I said woman on her period, I wasn't exaggerated. This is horseshit, absolute garbage, and then I see baby and come on, Scott! And my suffering! Why is it so hard to defend you? I'm having a massive Stockholm syndrome with this movie. To understand my situation, I need you to understand my opinion of the first movie and why I'm so conflicted. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just want you to understand. I love everything about the first and second acts. The characters, the story, the effects, the designs, the actings, except for you, everything. And then the third act comes along and that's where the movie collapses. And what do I, Springtrap's #1 fan, who made this video, which is 20 minutes of me giving him a blowjob, of his appearance in the movie? Oh, Springtrap, I hate you. I hate you so much. I wish you could see my face to understand the hurricane of emotions I'm in. I hated his appearance in the movie. It marks its decline and its worst aspects, because he appears out of nowhere. He's the worst twist villain I've ever seen, because he only appears at the beginning, disappears throughout the movie, and reappears at the end without any clue, without any build-up. What made Afton great from FNaF 1 to FNaF 3 was his build-up. The purple guy isn't someone you can introduce without prior build-up, and that's exactly what happens in the movie. You can't do that to the best villain of the franchise. And yes, I said best villain. Fuck you. Just kidding, you have a great game. But aside from that, would I recommend Five Nights at Freddy's to a normal person? Yes! It's a very entertaining experience to watch on a Sunday night, and I don't think a better adaptation of the game could have been made. Oh, so it's a good movie? No, it's pretty mediocre as a movie. But I was expecting something on the level of Paranorman, and that's what I got, so I left satisfied. It doesn't take itself seriously, but that's okay. FNaF is this, but it's also this. Now, would I recommend Five Nights at Freddy's 2 to a fan of the franchise? Yes! It's a very entertaining experience to watch on a Sunday night, and I don't think a better adaptation of the game could have been made. Oh, so it's a good movie then? No. But there's a problem. Did you notice? Would I recommend Five Nights at Freddy's to a normal person? Would I recommend Five Nights at Freddy's 2 to a fan of the franchise?
Coincidence? I think not!
With the first one, I said I'll recommend it to a normal person. And with the second one, I said I'd recommend it to a fan of the franchise. And this is because Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it's dog shit. It's basically the first one, but worse. The story changes, but it has the same patterns. Fan service, annoying characters created to be killed by the antagonist to demonstrate how dangerous they are, excellent villains replaced by a plot twist villain who is worse in every way and only appears once at the beginning of the movie. I know it's weird that I'm not starting with the good points, but really, everything good about the first one, it's still good here. Even Vanessa's acting improved, except for one thing that did get worse. I think the best way to describe it is like Penguizo say. Penguizo. I don't know how to say his name. He said, and I quote,
Did I see the first film? Yes. Did I like it? No. But I could understand why others did. So I just saw the second film. Did I like it? Nope. But this time, I can't understand why others seem to like it.
And I agree. It's full fan service, but while the first one was like Godzilla vs. Kong, decent enough to stand on its own feet, this one is like your average Marvel movie, where without it, it falls apart. You understand that I agree with Penguizo when I'm Fazbear Fanboy 666, and that's because this movie doesn't stand on its own 2 feet. I'm afraid to say it, but I think Scott was the main writer here, and he's not a good writer. In fact, I'm starting to think that he doesn't know how to write endings at all. I was reaching my limit with the amount of garbage I can tolerate. To put it in a way, the fan service in the first one hides the flaws of it. In the second one, it's not enough. So what's the problem with the movie? Mainly, its characters. They're idiots! I hated every single one of them. Their dialogue is awful. Abby is this little girl who throws a tantrum if she doesn't get what she wants. The movie treats her like she was 5, but she's 11. I like her in the first one, but I hated her here. And you know who else I hated? Mike, I hate you. He's an idiot, a dumbass, and a heartless, inconsiderate jerk with no empathy. They tried to build a romance between him and Vanessa, but aside from the fact that they have no chemistry, Mike treats her terribly. When Abby escapes to the pizzeria, she tells Vanessa, and Vanessa warns Mike. And Mike treats her like she's crazy. He tells her to drop it. Dude, you almost got killed by the animatronics in the first movie. Why wouldn't you believe her? Besides, wasn't you the one who beat up some random guy in the first movie? Is Mike an incel who was angry because his date didn't end in... Otherwise, why does he treat the woman he's supposedly in love with like that? She saved your life and Abby's. Isn't that enough? Oh, right. They had to force a conflict between the two characters. I see. But the worst of all, it's Michael. Not Mike. Michael Afton. Yes, they're different people in this timeline. He only has one good thing going for him. He's a bad person, just like in the games. As I said in this video, Michael Afton was never the hero everyone imagines. He's a William Jr., but even more stupid. Well, I guess the movie does a great job adapting the character. At least Matthew gave a decent performance. I don't know if it's the actor or the direction, but I swear I've seen TikToks of 14-year-olds acting like Jeff the Killer that made me feel less uncomfortable than this. I'm not exaggerating. It feels like a Jeff the Killer performance. He's not intimidating. He's just a henchman who wants to be the mastermind, but he's pathetic. He gives a speech about following his father's footsteps, only to run away and get knocked out by Mike's best friend. They definitely nailed the adaptation. A William Afton Jr., but even more pathetic. Except for Vanessa. But as we empathize with her, she makes the rest look even worse. The rest are either idiots or good people who don't matter, which causes another problem. This movie is predictable because you know which characters are going to die. No one even remotely good will die. Every character who gets killed is a dislikable jerk. In the first movie, it made sense since they wanted to show that despite everything, the animatronics are just children. And even then, innocent people died. But here? There's a teacher, and when I saw him, I said, he's gonna die. And I was right. Why? Because he was a dislikable jerk. No one who's good will die here. The characters are especially important in a horror movie because I'm worried that they won't survive. If I don't care about the characters, or worse, I don't like them, then I don't care what happens to them. And if I don't care what happens to them, I won't be afraid. If I hate all the characters who are going to die, the supposed scenes that should scare me only make me impatient to see the character die. So there's no sense of danger when I know the toys won't be able to kill anyone. But that's not the only problem with the script. It has plot lines that go nowhere and a lot of plot holes. For example, Fazfest is an event everyone talk about in the movie, building it up as if it was going to be a big showdown, a tragedy. I was expecting a climax like the massacre in the store in Child's Play 2019, but less bloody. No! In the end, they forgot about it. So what was it all for? Was it just an excuse for the animatronics to walk around the city without any problems? For a moment, I thought maybe Fazfest would be the place where the bite of 87 of this universe will happen. That's what they were building up. But I said, nah, Scott won't have the guts to show that. And I was right. So what was it all for? And the conclusion of the third act is the worst part of the movie. Since Michael, who only appeared in a few scenes at the beginning, just like his father, is presented as the main villain. And I already told you what Michael's character is like, right? Please, Poppy, take note of everything FNaF is doing for your movie. Finally, there are things I didn't like as a fan. Although many people like it, I don't like that this movie is getting bigger. One of the first drafts I heard for the first movie was about some teenagers discovering a factory of killer animatronics for the government. I can't find the source anymore, so I have to pull out the dude trust me on this one. And at that moment, I felt true fear. Why? FNaF was never the kind of franchise where the world was in danger or overly exaggerated. Yes, there's the Remnant, the Agony, the Funtime animatronics, but with a little science fiction I can overlook it. And that's part of its charm for me. I don't like the books because they tend to be very exaggerated, very fantastical. So I'm basically this kind of person with the books. I think one of them even had some kind of kaiju animatronic. Ugh. The first movie manages to strike a balance between being a decent film, adapting the games and adapting the books. This one feels much more like the books. Did I tell you I'm this kind of person with the books? I can forgive the taxi driver thing because it's not taken seriously. But let's just say that what happened here has to have very big consequences, and I don't like where this is going. So what happened here? Well, it's very simple. Basically what happened with the original franchise. From FNaF 1 to FNaF 3, Scott felt very pressured to release new games. As I said, both from the pressure and because he's so passionate for his work, he gets impatient and releases products that were not ready at all. The first movie took a long time to come out, and the good thing about that is that they had a lot of time to work in the script. Remember, Scott is not the best writer, so he had the support of professional writers in the first movie. Here, not only I think he's the main writer, but I also think that they didn't have as much time to work with the script. It's like they took one of the first drafts they make and they just started to roll with it. Why? Because there's a lot of things that feel like cliches from a 70s horror movie. And I only think of one person that could have done that, considering how good the first movie came out. Well, that's all the bad things I have to say. I do consider it worse than the first one, but this doesn't mean they weren't things I enjoyed. As I said, except for the characters, everything the first film did well, this sequel does it good too. So I won't mention the obvious. But important mention, Matthew Lillard.
I just peed a little.
I heard that Scott told Matthew that once the first movie was released, no one would be able to think of William Afton without thinking of him. But seeing how they used him, I thought, yeah, let me doubt it. Well, forget it! This man killed it! He's only in a few scenes and officially, he is William Afton. Vanessa's nightmare is genuinely terrifying, and I'm not saying that by the standards of the first film, but by cinema in general. Matthew Lillard's performance is phenomenal, far exceeding the script he was giving, with a lot of intensity. And the opening scenes, oh my god! This movie is like Five Nights at Freddy's 3, where Springtrap / William Afton is the best thing about the movie / video game. For starters, this movie is a bit more violent than the original. They did something I thought Scott will never do. Show the death of a child live and explicitly. The scene of a little girl with a bleeding back falling into the hands of a creature that will eventually possess her is mwah, cinema! Do you understand why I thought Scott would have the guts to show us the equivalent of the bite of 87? You feel Charlie's desperation, her frustration, her resentment towards the adults, how she blames them because if they had intervened, she wouldn't have died. Spring Bonnie's heavy footsteps, his intimidating and overwhelming presence, his large powerful figure slowly approaching. You can almost feel him about to grab you and oof. William, yes, give me a moment, man. Wow, give me a moment, I'll be back. I definitely can't see William Afton anymore without thinking of Matthew Lillard. It's a shame he's just here for farming aura. And they even reference the VHS tapes. There's a found footage section and it looked really good. I always said that the FNaF movie should be in found footage, and this movie proved me right. I wish we had more scenes like that, man. These scenes work because they actually try to build tension. The first one wasn't a horror masterpiece, but at least it tried, with the animatronics stalking the kids who broke into the place to destroy it in the first movie, whereas here it's a festival of cheap jumpscares. But seriously, Charlie as the puppet.
I think I just peed a little.
I'll use that joke as often as I want, thank you very much.
Wow! She steals the show as the main villain. She's intimidating, imposing, and cruel. She's a genuine threat and does a much better job as a villain than Afton did in the first movie. Now, I feel like they didn't know what design to give her because I don't like her possessed people design. She looks stupid and ridiculous. Except for Abby. When she's possessed, she actually looks good. Her design is so surreal, it gives me cartoon cat vibes. And speaking of lore, Baby appears. Motherfucking Circus Baby appears. And I think Abby is going to be Circus Baby, if Elizabeth doesn't exist. This movie builds on good ideas over stupidity. Puppet's motivation is fine, but for it to make sense, all the adults behave like idiots. Well, with that logic, if Abby acts like an idiot, it could be a good idea. Abby was irresponsible and put herself in danger by trusting the animatronics twice. What if she doesn't learn her lesson and ends up paying the price? It sounds stupid, but seeing as this story requires a certain degree of stupidity to work, it would be interesting. In general, as I said, what the first movie did well, this one does it too, except for the characters. The deaths are more creative, there's more violence, the humor is decent, and for those who like that kind of thing, Toy Chica is the animatronic with the most screen time of all, the most used, and something tell me it wasn't random. You could have used Toy Bunny, but you choose Toy Chica. Well, I guess you had to sell. I mean, who were you going to use? Toy Freddy? Nobody likes Toy Freddy. Funnily enough, they actually did a really good job with Toy Chica. Despite everything, they did actually a good job making him an intimidating presence. So yeah, when you watch this movie, afterwards you can confidently say you like Toy Chica without everyone looking weird at you, because she's actually good in this movie. And well, that's all I wanted to say. This isn't a review, it's a therapy session. Honestly, this excuse that this is made for the fans is just that, an excuse. Look, I prefer something like this to watching Paramount's Halo. Unlike the first one, which I enjoyed watching, this one made me angry. And since I have Stockholm Syndrome, I watch it again. But let's put it this way. I'll defend the first one, I can't defend the second one. My rating for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a 2.7. If you're wondering, the first one is a 5 for me. To be honest, I'm worried about the third one, because they listened to the fans but misinterpreted and took it to the extreme. Like I said, I prefer something like this, more niche, than something like Paramount's Halo. But above all, I'm worried about Springtrap. A big part of what made the purple guy great in FNaF 3 was his build-up in FNaF 1 and especially in FNaF 2. But in the movies, we don't get that development. The characters talk and talk about him and his legacy, but we don't know what his legacy is. And it's not very clear what he wanted in the first movie. And it makes me even angrier to see that we have such a good actor playing the franchise's best villain, only to do absolutely nothing. This William Afton isn't ready to be Springtrapped yet. He's not ready for that transformation, or at least the audience hasn't seen it yet. He needs more time to become the character in the audience's eyes. In my perfect world, we'd have a William Afton spin-off movie to give Matthew Lillard time to do his magic. Not something like Joker because it's PG-13, but something like Cruella. I mean, it's an alternative version of the character, and he is already dead in the franchise, so there wouldn't be a problem. But that's not going to happen. Well, that concludes my thoughts. I look forward to your opinions in the comments. If you disagree, I'd be happy to hear from you. And if you're not feeling diplomatic, I want to tell you guys,
Come at me, bitch! I found a